Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. We're in a marathon of filming. Today we're going to discuss a subject that is maybe a little peculiar and highlights an important issue, which is, will you lose your citizenship if you leave or live outside of your home country for long enough? If you have ever wondered that, we're going to answer it here. So anyway, click the subscribe button, destroy it, do whatever it is that you do. Click the notification bell to be updated, and let's dive in. Okay, so this one is an interesting one. I think I probably first encountered it, my mom mentioned it to me about like, hey, you need to be careful that you're not outside the country too long, you might lose your Canadian citizenship. And I was like, well, hang on, that's not how citizenship works in Canada. And I was for quite a while under the assumption, which is somewhat mistaken, that once you have citizenship, that's it, okay? You pretty much have it permanently. It's kind of like a right that is bestowed to you by the country. And generally speaking, this is true. So to answer the question, for those who are wondering, no, you generally don't have to worry that if you move abroad or you live outside of the country, or if you're out for a certain amount of time, that you're likely to lose your citizenship or that you will lose your citizenship. That basically, in most cases, will not happen. But there are some noteworthy exceptions to this. One interesting one is Netherlands, and Netherlands has, it's not a very clear way of figuring it out, but basically after 10 years of being a non-resident, you could potentially lose your citizenship if certain criteria are met, and there's some criteria that would prevent you from having that met as well. So you have to kind of dive into the weeds there to figure it out in your situation. The other thing is, in a bunch of cases, they don't allow dual citizenship. So if they don't allow dual citizenship and you happen to live in a country long enough and then you get their citizenship, it may end up meaning that you lose yours. Now, I'm going to dive into a few different pieces on that. So first, the first point is, generally speaking, no, you don't have to worry about it. You're going to keep your citizenship. You're going to be good to go. That's fine. The second is, do verify that, because there are a few exceptions to this. It's rare, but there are some countries you may want to look at and say, hang on, do I risk losing my citizenship? Okay. The third point that is perhaps the most important one is this one about dual citizenship, and just diving a little bit into here. Okay. So it is true that a bunch of countries don't allow dual citizenship, and usually where this shows up is that they want you to give up your old citizenship when you get your new citizenship. This being said, or they may invalidate your citizenship if you get another one, but generally speaking, they don't know. So some people have asked me, hey, listen, is there like a central register that tells countries what all citizenships you have? The answer is no, there is not. So you can go and get a citizenship in a country, and your home country doesn't know that you got that citizenship, okay? Maybe between certain countries there might be some information sharing, but broadly speaking, there is not. And what this means is that there are a lot of cases where they say, hey, we don't allow dual citizenship, but you can still have dual citizenship. So a good example of this that I've seen quite frequently is with Ukrainians. Okay, so growing up in Canada, there was quite a few Ukrainian immigrants to Canada, and I would meet a bunch of people who had immigrated from Ukraine. They'd lived long enough as permanent residents, they'd become citizens, but they still were Ukrainian citizens. I'm like, well, how does this work? It's like, well, because Ukraine is not checking, okay? So Ukraine doesn't know that you got that citizenship. In theory, they weren't allowing it. Now, there's some technicalities around how Ukraine views dual citizenship, and so actually you can get Ukrainian citizenship and still retain an old citizenship, but they won't recognize it when you're within the country and things like this. So there are some technicalities, and we sometimes help people with getting Ukrainian citizenship because there's unofficial programs to deal with the situation in Ukraine, and it can be a cost-effective, fairly easy, fairly broadly accepted way of getting dual citizenship. Okay, so that's a whole other side of things. But the point I wanted to bring out is that in a lot of places, it's quite a process to give up your citizenship. So the U.S. being a really good example, right? It's hard to lose your U.S. citizenship. It's hard to give it up. It's not just like you're like, okay, great, I'm going to just toss it off a boat and I'm done. No, it doesn't work that way. Or, hey, listen, I go and I move to a country like, let's say, Singapore or Malaysia or something like that that doesn't allow dual citizenship. And, I say, okay, I swear I'm giving up my citizenship. Well, it doesn't count for the U.S. purposes. So in that sense, dual citizenship rules and restrictions on dual citizenship are a little bit tricky, and the difference in practice to what's on paper is worth observing. So anyway, the bottom line is citizenship tends to be forever. Okay, that's a characteristic of citizenship. And I have a lot of people who contact us who say, hey, we're interested in getting another citizenship, can we lose it, right? Generally speaking, the answer is no. Once you've got it, you've got it. Now, with certain citizenship by investment programs, with certain cases of crime, etc., there are some cases where you can lose it. So for instance, again, I'm here in Bulgaria. For quite a few years, it was very easy to get Bulgarian citizenship sort of illicitly, right? Basically, it would cost you $5,000, and that program has been not a program. That operation has mostly been shut down, so it's not available anymore. But there was some cases of people who lost their citizenship in that case. Now, how did that happen? Well, in those cases, there was like a 10-year period under which they could invalidate it, and basically the person got it when they shouldn't have gotten it because of the fact that they had some criminal past. And so, although there were thousands of people who got citizenships this way, there was a few people who ended up having it taken away on that basis. Okay, and there's a variety of other similar situations that you can look at where if a person has gone and got the citizenship in a country and then it turns out they have some problems, they've gone and lost it. And I'll do a video in the future on, hey, listen, what are the scenarios under which someone could lose their citizenship, because that's another question that people have. Anyway, hope that helps. That gives you an answer to the question. If you liked the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell. If you're interested in having some help with getting an alternate residency or citizenship, reach out to us. You can book a private call with me for any of these subjects. Visit offshorecitizen.net, offshorecapitalist.com. But also, there's a link below, clarity.fm/Michael Rosmer. We're happy to help you with structuring, with citizenships, residencies, anything really to do with international. And so we will look forward to seeing you on the next video.